Then proceed to the back of each arm and be careful not to spray too much solution on the elbows. Stop at the wrists and do not spray the hands at this time. You may spray the buttocks area if the client is nude. Now you can spray the back of the legs. Start at the top of the legs and spray down all the way to the ankles. Do not spray the feet at this time. Be sure and cover the back of both legs thoroughly. You can now spray the front of the shoulder area and the front of the arms. Have the client spread their arm out slightly away from the body with their hands out to the side of their body. Rotate the arm and hand inward and be sure and spray the very top of the shoulder all the way down the outside of the arm to the wrist area. Do not spray the hands at this time. Then, keep the arm in the same position, but open the palm of the hand and spray the inside area of the arm. And remember, do not spray the hands at this time. Repeat this same procedure for the other arm. Now you're ready to spray the sides of the client. Start on one side of the body and then have the client lift their arm all the way into the air with their wrist bent back toward the ceiling to prevent solution from staining the inside of the hands. Begin to spray from the top of the wrist all the way down the inside of the arm to the client's waistline. Do not spray the armpit area very heavily in order to prevent staining. Repeat the same procedure for the other side of the body, and remember, start on one side of the body and then have the client lift their arm all the way into the air with their wrist bent back to prevent the solution from staining the inside of the hands. Begin to spray from the top of the wrist all the way down the inside of the arm to the client's waistline. Do not spray the armpit area very heavily in order to prevent staining. Now turn the client all the way toward the front, facing you. Do not do the neck and face yet, but start at the bottom of the neck, the collarbone area, and then start to spray down the front middle portion of the body all the way down to the waistline. Then finish the rest of the upper body from the chest, continuing to use long, even, smooth strokes. Be sure and do both sides of the chest to make sure you're getting good coverage on the solution to this area of the body. You may remove the spray gun if necessary during the tanning application at any time for drying certain areas like the armpits, breast area, and buttocks lines. At this time, spray the pelvis and lower abdomen areas if the client is nude. Now you can do the front of the legs. Start at the middle top section of the leg and spray all the way down to the ankles. Do not spray the feet at this time. Turn the client slightly outward and spray the outside of the legs all the way down to the ankles while avoiding the feet. Then have the client spread their leg out slightly with their foot pointing out and spray the inner thigh. Please remember, as we previously stated, to gently apply only one even coat about 4 to 6 inches away from the client's body. Do not apply 2 or more coats of tanning solution to the same area, as this may result in discoloration the next day from too much solution penetrating the skin. Repeat the same procedure on the client's other leg, and remember to start at the middle top section of the leg and spray all the way down to the ankles. Do not spray the feet at this time. Turn the client slightly outward and spray the outside of the legs all the way down to the ankles while avoiding the feet. Then have the client spread their leg out slightly with their foot pointing out and spray the inner thigh. You're now ready to spray the hands and feet. It is very important that you do not spray too heavily on the hands and feet, as this can result in discoloration or staining the next day after the tan. Gently apply a quick, swift motion of solution to both hands and have the customer turn their fingers down slightly to avoid staining the fingernails. We call this the bear claw technique, and it's highly recommended on the hands. Next, gently apply a quick, swift motion of solution to the top portion of both feet and do not spray the toes to avoid discoloration. The final step is to spray the neck and face area last, so the neck does not streak or get any runoff. If the neck is done at the beginning of the tan, sometimes the neck area can become streaky and uneven because of the many turns and arm angles that are necessary to tan the rest of the body. Spray the neck area lightly with a quick, swift motion, and be sure to cover the middle and both sides of the neck. When spraying the face of the client, ask them to hold their breath for a few seconds and close their eyes while the solution is being applied to the face area. Use the same technique as you did with the neck and apply the solution gently to the face with 3 swift, even strokes, covering the middle and both sides of the face. You can now tell your client to take a breath and relax for a moment while you dry them off with the air hose. Check your client very carefully after the tan is completed to make sure that all areas have been covered with a good, even coat of tanning solution and that they're happy with the results. If you missed any areas, then gently apply a coat of solution to those areas. When the tan is completed, detach the hose from the end of the spray gun, and then use the hose to air dry the client with the warm air for a couple of minutes. By this time, the machine is heated up slightly, and the air coming out of the hose should be warm and comfortable for the client. After the tanning process is complete, you will see an immediate golden bronze tan. Be sure and tell your client that the color of the tan will become much darker over the course of the next few hours and will develop into a rich, darker tan the next day and will last from 5 to 7 days depending on skin condition. Be sure to tell your client not to take a shower or bath the first day of the tan in order to give the solution time to work on the skin. In addition, be sure and tell your client that when they do take their first bath or shower, that they should not use a washcloth or loofah, but rather to gently rinse their bodies using light, mild soap as needed.